KFI AM 640. Mr. Mo Kelly here. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I could run down the show for you tonight, but why? Because all we know, we could have another earthquake and it would go right out the window, just like it did last night. So why even get your hopes up for what we're going to do third hour? Let me take you behind the scenes. Of course, we're talking about the earthquake, which happened last night at about 9:09 p.m. There's what you heard on the air, and then there's what was actually happening in the studio in real time. Couldn't talk about it last night, if only because it was happening and it was live radio. We went straight to breaking news coverage. But what was happening is you can't see our setup unless you've watched maybe on Instagram Live. You can see. I can see Mark Ronner and I can see Elmer, who's running the board tonight, via video screen. We have cameras in the various studios. There's a studio for news. There's a studio, what we call Air Mix, where they do the technical aspect. And there's the main studio where I have my microphone. I can see Mark. I can see Elmer. And I can't remember what I was saying, but I was talking and I could feel the table and room shaking. Trying to be professional, I just can't say earthquake. You can't do that. It could be a truck driving by, or it could be someone running down the hall. I just can't just yell earthquake, because why? Some 100,000 people are listening. Yeah, I have to be sure. And inevitably, whenever there is an earthquake, we'll hear from you on Twitter. We'll hear from you on Facebook. You'll text message to us and just say, did you feel that earthquake? And we have due diligence. We have to be sure that it actually is an earthquake before we can tell all of you it's an earthquake. That would be unprofessional of us if we just started just randomly screaming out, earthquake! Did you ever see like War of the Worlds? Orson Welles? Did you hear what panic that created? I'm not trying to do that. So we have to be sure before we say anything. Go ahead, Mark.
If you're a professional in the radio business, you can't just jump on the air at the first sign of a quake and say, oh my God, it's the big one. Right. We're all going to die, like Fred Sanford, Oh no, it's the big one.
I'm coming to meet you, Elizabeth. Can't do that.
No, so, you got to be a little bit more measured in your response.
Got to be measured, and you have to be sure. We were looking for confirmation, because there are many times where something could happen in close physical proximity to the studio. Let's say it could have been an explosion at a building because there were chemicals and you had a chemical fire, something like that, which has happened on occasion. And it may shake the building. Well, that's not an earthquake. And then you've put out erroneous information and you've misled people, and then our credibility goes out the window. So we always have to be sure. It's not about being first. It's about being accurate. Going back to last night, after it was clear that it was an earthquake and it was unmistakable, if only because how we were rolling, this building's on rollers, so there's a to and fro sway to this, and the duration of it. And we were confident that it was an earthquake, and we could find Twala. Did you go to QuakeBot?
Yeah.
Okay, so
QuakeBot.
Yeah. And also, we talked about it last night. There's a delay. So what you're hearing right now happened 30 seconds ago. What you're hearing right now, that happened 30 seconds ago. It's almost like the speed of light type thing. So we could be calm and wait a second before we said it. And even when we did say it, it was going to get to you a moment or two after that. But we needed to be sure. And when we were sure, then we went into what we call breaking news coverage. It's like, okay, that was a significant earthquake. We got to make sure we get as much information as quickly and accurately as possible to you. Mark Ronner sends the message, I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, down to the news editor, whoever might be working as a news editor, to get as much up-to-date information as possible.
Yeah, can you get me something by the next break, et cetera, and so forth. And they're scrambling. Everybody scrambles during breaking news.
Right, but there's a constant flow of communication. It happened at 9:09, and we usually go to news break 13 minutes after the hour. We got a text from our program director, who's probably listening right now, Robin Bertolucci, saying, yeah, talk about the earthquake. Yes, Robin, we're going to talk about the earthquake.
Is that what she sounds like?
In my mind.
Okay, all right.
That's what the text message sounds like. And so what we call blew out the news break. We weren't going to go to the news. We went straight to coverage. And if you were paying attention, you realize, wait, they didn't go to commercial for a long time. Right. That was intentional. We want to get as much information to you as quickly as possible. Then we open up the phones, and for the last half hour of the show, we didn't go to commercial. We wanted to hear from you, the listener. So a lot of our coverage, the whole point of that was saying thank you for participating in making sure we could get out as much information to people as possible. We couldn't have done it without you. It's one thing to report, the earthquake was 5.7, then it was downgraded to 5.3, and it was downgraded to 5.2. But it's much more compelling, and it's much more, I would say, enlightening when we get to hear from people on the ground who were right there. Maybe you were in your car, maybe you were at home and you were startled awake. It was late enough where I'm quite sure some people were asleep. But we got a wide cross section of people all over Southern California, from I think Sherman Oaks to
Bakersfield,
near the epicenter. And I think people listening, they got a real sense of how long this earthquake was experienced for just about everyone and what wide area it covered. So that's just to give you a little insight as far as what was happening behind the scenes. Were we panicking? No, absolutely not. But we've done this enough. In fact, that was not the first time in which I've been on the air when there was an earthquake. I can't remember what year. Maybe 2014, 2015. I think it was like in Central California, there was an earthquake which happened, and it was strong enough that we felt it here in Southern California. And I remember I was right in the middle of an interview. And again, that was one of the people said, like, talk about the earthquake. It's like, okay, we have to confirm that it's an earthquake. And I remember I abruptly ended the interview and then started talking about the earthquake. So yes, we were aware as it was happening, but it takes a moment before we can confirm and then switch gears. It was a wonderful job done by the news department and Mark Ronner. I say that because people don't see that and they don't know that. And I think it's important that we acknowledge that.
Well, thank you very much. I love working during breaking news, and my background is in newspapers, and I've covered so much breaking news that it'd make your head spin. So when something like that happens, I feel like I'm exactly in the place where I need to be. And I was thinking about this on the way home, and I'm glad you brought it up to talk about today. I know that listeners kind of have a radar for when you're being cheesy and feeding them BS self-promotion, but last night was a classic example of how indispensable local radio is.
Right. And we talk about the need to have AM radio in people's cars. Last night, that was a perfect time to remind people needed to get information. AM radio, it's free, it's available, it's immediate. That's why we're here. That's what we do. Not that I was going to start an Instagram live last night during breaking news coverage, but if you could have seen what was going on, you could have a great appreciation for how we do what we do and why KFI specifically does it so well. And we do it because we have a responsibility to you. And thank you for always listening and supporting us. I know that sounds cheesy to Mark's point, but it is the truth. So that was just a little bit of the behind the scenes. When we come back, we have a Metro update. So you know what that means: murder, death, kill, stab, shooting, fight, homeless attacks. It was one of those. And it happened in Pasadena. We'll give you that update next. Looks like Chris Little's bothering Mark. So can I come to you now, Mark? Are you ready for the news?
Let's do it. Apparently, we just had a 4.3 earthquake about...
Aftershock or earthquake?
A 4.3 magnitude quake. About 18 miles south of Bakersfield. I didn't feel a thing. Did you?
Well, I didn't. Well, if it's
Chris Little insisted he did.
No. But I'm saying if it happened near Bakersfield, I'm inclined to believe it's an aftershock as opposed to a secondary unrelated quake.
Well, in all fairness, Chris is far more sensitive than I am.
Chris, why don't you get on the microphone since you're just going to just bring the whole show to a stop with your breaking news. Come on over. Come on, Chris. Get on the mic. You don't want to do the news break, Chris?
You can't just stand there and defy a host in the middle of a show.
Look, I was ready to toss to Mark, and now he wants to walk out of the studio.
Oh, no, he's coming to you. He's coming to you.
All right. No, we're going to do this for real.
Yeah.
Move the microphone over. Let's have Chris come in and sit down. He's not going to come in?
Hey, can you hear me? I'm in here.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, well, I really, while you guys are talking earthquakes, I felt an earthquake. I wasn't sure it was an earthquake. I checked the Quake bot. It wasn't on there yet. And then I got a notification from the USGS. Actually, I searched the USGS. It wasn't there yet. And then the notification came, and I sent it to Ronner and to Tawala, who was Mr. Earthquake, I know.
What a well-oiled machine. See, there it is in real time.
It is very oily, yes.
It is, yeah, it's quite oily. And that's why I was standing over Mark's shoulder, because I sent him the email. I said, hey, take a look at this email. And so it was about 18 miles out of Bakersfield.
And I was vamping because I can see you talking to Mark, and I'm just sort of like, okay, let me just keep talking because Mark is not ready to do the news because he's not even looking at me. He's talking to you. So I can't toss and go to news because Mark is not ready to receive the toss.
Yeah, Mo thought I was getting fired.
Well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I just didn't think you'd get fired on the air during the show.
Yeah. Oh, you can't tell me that's never happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Look at the time.
Look at the time. Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's ever been fired on the air that I'm aware of, Mark.
Thank you for that. Always looking to be a first.
Wait, not in the news department, but
right. Not in the news department.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do know of a guy who was taken to lunch before his shift, and then he did not do his shift. That was Tom Likas.
Oh, my goodness.
No,
Yes. I recall this story. Yes.
I was working part-time as an anchor, and David G. Hall went to lunch with Tom Likas, and Tom Likas did not come in after lunch.
Well, if he knew he was getting fired, why would you come in and report to work?
Well, I don't think he knew he was getting fired because he went to lunch with the boss and then did not return. I mean, did not come back because he had no job.
Not only is that story a classic, but it never fails to bust me up when Tim Conway Jr. does his Likas impression.
Whose impression?
Likas. Tim Conway
does
Likas.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You're not listening to some right-wing wacko or convicted felon. No, I am your host. See, I remember all this stuff.
Hey, can we go to news now?
Look at the time.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Let's go to Pasadena Metro Station. A man was apprehended early today after he attacked a woman at a metro station in Pasadena. It happened around 5:40 a.m. at the A-Line's Allen station. Not much is known or has been reported publicly, but according to Metro, L.A. County Sheriff's deputies, quote-unquote, swiftly apprehended the suspect after the incident. They're not telling us what exactly happened or how badly the woman was injured, but we do know that the woman was put in the hospital and is in stable condition. So it was more than a paper cut. Something bad happened to her, and she was sent to the hospital. But I don't have the complete statement, but ABC 7 had this to say as far as the Metro response. Quote, Metro wishes the woman a speedy and full recovery. Close quote. So Metro basically gave their equivalent to a get well card and posted that for the woman. Metro wishes the woman a speedy and full recovery. How about Metro is a sorry-ass agency for not doing more to protect you? We apologize. Our bad. I think that's more appropriate, right? Because that's more accurate about what happened. If Metro had done more, then it probably would have been less of a likelihood of this happening. But, the woman probably was going about her way, trying to go to work. I don't know this for certain, but I suspect that she was going to work at 5:40 in the morning, not going home. And she was assaulted to some degree. Violence took place, ended up in the hospital. But she did get a get well card and a speedy and full recovery note from Metro. That should make her feel much better.
Was it a nice card? Was it an expensive card?
I don't know. As far as I know, it was just in the statement. She may not have received the card at all. It just might have been a statement, and her friend or family member had to read it to her from the internet. I don't know if they actually took that next step and bought a card from CVS and had someone walk it over to the hospital and hand it to her. Maybe they left it at the front desk.
Oh, yeah, e-cards are way too cheap.
Well, yeah. If you're in the hospital, you may not have access to your phone. You're sitting in that gown. We don't know her condition. All we know is that she's stable. And I'm not trying to make fun of it, but I want to highlight the ridiculous nature of how this is being characterized. You notice Metro's being very clear about not being clear. They're not trying to give us any real details as far as what happened, why it happened. We know that LA sheriff's deputies swiftly apprehended the suspect. Well, clearly the sheriff's deputies saw it happen. That's how they swiftly apprehended the person. They don't want to tell you because it would make bad matters worse relative to public perception of the metro. Another day, another week, another assault. Just a typical day on Metro in Southern California. I wish I had more, but what can I say other than there will be another attack probably this week. Someone's going to get hurt on Metro, and all I can do is say, I told you so. Again, for the 45th time.
You think Metro has a budget set aside for like sending fruit baskets to victims and things like that?
Oh, I would think so, but I don't know if they do. You know what I think it is? Do you remember the movie... what's the one with the kaijus and they had the Jaegers and
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Do you think they have this big clock at Metro, like days since someone's been attacked on the Metro, and then they have to reset it after each one?
That would be exhausting.
Well, they'd have to redo it just about every single day.
Yeah, somebody'd have like one huge right arm from resetting the hand all the time.
It's not even days; it's like hours since last attack on Metro.
Yeah.
Well, let's start the clock again and see if we can get through at least a whole week without someone being harmed on Metro. I'm not taking that bet.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
You should not be surprised. California is one of the most expensive states in the nation to start a family. No one should be surprised by that. But according to Wallet Hub, it's really, really expensive. And the personal finance site ranked the best places in the U.S. to have a baby, analyzing all 50 states and Washington, D.C., based on birthing costs, healthcare accessibility, and other factors. And we now know where California is relative to a good state or a bad state to start a family. We'll give you the top 10 and the bottom 10. And we won't even bury the lead. California is not in either, even though it's more expensive than just about anywhere to raise a family or have a baby because of birthing costs and hospital charges for conventional and cesarean deliveries. We are 10th in terms of healthcare accessibility, 23rd for baby friendliness, but overall, we ranked 30th out of 50 states and Washington, D.C. for having a baby. So we're not quite in the bottom third percentile.
You just can't afford the house here after you have the baby.
Well, it's either or. You can have the baby or you can have the house, but you won't have the baby and the house.
Right.
I'll wait. Elmer's not even paying attention. Damn it. I work so hard on that.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Look, if you're going to sit in that chair, and we got to know, you got to be ready with the rim shot because I'm working hard here. I'm using some of my best material, and I need some acknowledgement because Mark Ronner's not going to give it to me.
He rarely earns it, Elmer, just so you know.
Oh, here we go. All right. Here are the 10 best states and districts for those having a baby, according to Wallet Hub. Coming in at number 10. Mark Ronner, the state of Washington.
I believe that.
Number 9. Utah. Yeah, I believe that. Mm-hmm. Number 8. Vermont. Don't know. Never been there. Number 7. Maine. I hear it's beautiful there. Have no idea beyond that.
Well, Stephen King's there, and he encourages procreation.
Really? Okay.
I don't know. I just made that up.
I never believe anything you say, so you know.
Of course.
Number 6. Washington, D.C. Number 5 of the top 10 best states and districts for those having a baby, according to Wallet Hub. This is number 5. New Hampshire. So the Northeast coming in strong. Number 4. Rhode Island. Look, if you want to have a baby, go to the East Coast to Northeast.
This is for baby friendliness and overall cost and child care and all that, right?
All that.
Yeah, Rhode Island, the home of H.P. Lovecraft, the great god Cthulhu wants you to reproduce.
Only you would know that. I mean, I know H.P. Lovecraft, but I wouldn't be able to connect it to like Rhode Island.
I'm trying to contribute here.
We're laughing at you, not with you, Mark. Just
You
so
wouldn't dare. Please proceed.
Number 3. Minnesota. Number 3. Number 2. This seems like an odd one. North Dakota.
What else is there to do there, honestly?
Well,
Yeah, baby friendliness, child care.
you go ahead and make sense of that. I can't make heads or tails of North Dakota given those other states.
It's a lot of it's a motherly community.
I'll take your word for it. And number 1 of the top 10 best states and districts for those having a baby, California came in at number 30. But here is number 1. Massachusetts. Those liberals in the Northeast know how to take care of a newborn baby. Or not.
I love that fanfare. In my head, that's the fanfare that plays when I would conceive.
Mark.
Elmer's not
right there.
paying attention. He's not paying attention. He's not paying attention.
He's got a thumb on the scale for you.
Ah, goodness gracious. Okay, here's the bottom 10. Here are the 10 worst states for those having a baby. Coming in at number 10, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Arkansas. Number 10.
Yeah.
Number 9 of the worst state for having a baby. Oklahoma. I'm sensing a trend here. Number 8. Louisiana.
Yeah.
Pattern.
Consistent.
Yeah.
Number 7. West Virginia. Okay, can I just make one political statement? Aren't these all the biggest pro-life states?
Worst states to have a baby.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Just.
I was just wondering if there's any correlation. That's all. All right. Number 6. Nevada. And it's not Nevada. It's Nevada. Nevada.
That should be number 1.
It didn't say raising a baby. It's something like having a baby. I'm quite sure they have hospitals and stuff in Nevada.
Oh, God, no.
Number 5 of the top 10 worst states for having a baby. And we're back. Georgia. Number 4. Nuevo Mexico. New Mexico. Coming in at number 3 of the worst states to have a baby. South Carolina. Look, does anyone want to say the quiet part out loud?
Shocker.
Coming in at number 2, according to Wallet Hub, of the top 10 worst states for those having a baby. Coming in at number 2. Alabama, Keith Jackson, fumble, Rooski.
It's almost like there's a theme.
I can't quite put my finger on it. And coming in at number 1 of the 10 worst states for having a baby in all the U.S. and Washington, D.C. is, does anyone want to make a guess?
What southern state have we not mentioned yet? Louisiana, have we done that?
We've mentioned Louisiana. That's number 8.
It's all a blur, I guess.
Okay. Well, coming in at number 1 is... Mark, I'm really disappointed in you. How could you not know it was Mississippi?
Oh, it fits perfectly. Yeah.
Mississippi is at the bottom of every list. If you want to know about the worst list, be it education,
Health.
Does not matter. Infant mortality, it's Mississippi. The answer is always Mississippi.
Well done, Mississippi.
There's no reason in the world I ever want to go to Mississippi for anything. Nothing.
I don't think they want you
for the
there.
drive-through
Well, that
liquor
too.
stores?
Nothing.
Drive-through liquor stores?
Nada.
Okay.
Oh,
Look.
wait. Did you just say drive-through liquor
Yeah,
stores?
they have drive-through liquor
They have
stores.
drive-through liquor stores.
Okay, I got to rethink this.
No, like it's almost like you pull up to the window. Yeah, I'll take a Jack Daniels and a Kettle One. Let me make that 2 Kettle Ones, and can I get some straws for that? Thank you very much.
Yeah, is it in a container or do they just fling it at you?
I think they have an open container.
I drove through there and
When you live to tell about it?
yeah, no, we drove through. We drove through just on
Or you just stop?
in the daylight hours,
Right.
I'm assuming.
We didn't stop. It was one of those things we had to stop and get gas during the day. And across the street, we saw people going through a liquor store, and they had a drive-through. You could go inside, but you could also pull up to a window, and they were handing people bags of liquor.
Kind of like McDonald's, except with liquor.
Yeah, lots of laps.
You're kidding, but you're not really kidding.
I'm not.
Yeah, I remember one time my family was driving through Tennessee, and this is 1982. We were coming back from a family reunion, talking about Route 66, and just driving across country. We would oftentimes drive. That was one time where I could tell my father, because it's my father, my mother, my older sister, and me, where he was very concerned about getting through the state as quickly as possible, as in before nightfall.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact route, but he did not want to have any type of entanglements with anyone.
Yep.
And we pulled into a gas station, and I remember as clear as day, there was this family, and I remember the back license plate. It was a Confederate flag, and they were just staring at us. And my father was getting gas, and he said something to the effect of, "Do not get out of the car." I'm maybe 11 or 12 at the time. And you look back at it through adult eyes and you realize, like, okay, he saw what we were feeling. And, it's about protecting your family at that point. Yeah, I'm not going to Mississippi for anything. Nothing. Not even for a drive-through liquor store. Now, you can go. You can bring me back something, Mark.
I don't think they'd want me there either, to tell you the truth.
Well, I think you could pass. You could infiltrate.
Yeah, I could pass.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
If you're on Instagram, why don't you just travel over to Later with Mo Kelly or at Mr. Mo Kelly. We have some new merchandise, which is just coming together. We have a new mug and keychain that we're starting to producing on enough. Well, in fact, the people who've won prizes in the most recent Name That Movie Cult Classic contest, they will be getting it first.
Yeah, the future prize winners, I will be sending you all emails this evening to let you know that your future prizes are in and they will be going out.
If you'd like to see them, Instagram at Mr. Mo Kelly, MrMokelly, or at Later with Mo Kelly. You can see it's a very cool 2-tone mug with the show logo and even a picture of me. I'm surprised they put that on there. I'm not vain like that, even though Mark likes to allege otherwise. I'm not vain like that.
You say you have mugs now with your face?
Yes. As in like mug with my mug.
Okay, so right before work, I showed the long-suffering one at home a picture of a mug that I wanted, which was the zombie from Dawn of the Dead who gets the top of his head chopped off by a helicopter. You drink out of the head.
Mm-hmm.
I want a Mo Kelly mug now. I don't want that one anymore.
Well, okay, you can get a Mo Kelly mug, and then you can...
I want to drink out of the top of your head.
You can drink and look at me when you have your coffee in the morning.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, imagine the joy that will bring me.
Well, we also will have some keychains, which will be easier. You can put me in your back pocket. Or your front pocket. It's up to you.
Wherever there's room.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
We're watching everything, so you can watch your sanity.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio.